Yo, did she really say that?
No, I think she did.
Yo, what's good, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another review. This is the review for the Tyler Perry show, Sistas After Show. And if this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it will always be. I was trying to decide how I wanted to bring this review because I know there are people who support me, who listen to my my channel, my videos, who has not and don't plan to watch the after show, but they were waiting on this review. And so I think for me, just to be truthful and honest, I just want to talk about this special just as a black woman watching other black women, you know, doing their thing and attempting to speak their truth and their heart about certain things. In a sense, this was a hard watch for me. Now, I think it was okay for what it was. To me, it was not spectacular. It wasn't, oh my God, you must see it. If you haven't seen it, you're not missing anything. Okay. The more that these specials air, the more that I am convinced for Alicia that Tyler Perry is a misogynistic narcissist. And I know that sounds extreme, and I know some people might not believe it, but I am one person who I don't view people as like, Tyler Perry is not on a pedestal to me. Anyway, he's human just like we all are. And I know sometimes it is very hard to believe, but Tyler Perry is actually someone who I do admire because I do enjoy how he has been placed and put in a position to help other people fulfill their dreams, fulfill, you know, the passion that they have, and to open up other and major opportunities for them. That is something that I do love about Tyler and his ability to move in his purpose so that it can create opportunity for other people. And that is something that no one can take away from him because he is great at doing that. However, that does not negate the fact of how I see Tyler with black women. That is not a conversation that I am willing to water down or dissect for anybody. It just is what it is. So one of the things, the overall things too, that came out of this special is that I can understand people not liking the character, but when you begin to attack, and I have seen every woman, Crystal is not exempt. I have read some of the most disgusting comments about these women, far as their physical attributes. I'm just like, and these are other black women that's doing this. You know, not all black women do that, but it's a lot who are committed to just being negative and nasty for no reason. And so one of the things that I think has to be talked about, it has to be discussed, and I know many people will not agree with this, and that is perfectly okay. Is one of the facts that Tyler Perry has completely dimmed the character of Karen's light to a flicker, only for the sole purpose to glorify Zach and Fatima's relationship. That is it. Because don't ever think for a second that this Zatima spinoff wasn't in the works when Tyler began to write season 2. It is very evident that this has been his plan. I know that Tyler has an affinity for Crystal, and I know that he has an affinity for DeVal. These are two individuals. I can't speak on, you know, his personal relationship with these other people, but those two individuals, I know that he has a special thing for. So I'm not surprised that they have a spinoff. It's going to be interesting, but I'm not surprised by that. But I just hate the fact that another character had to take the brunt of the negativity for Tyler to exalt these two other characters. Like I said, some people, oh man, it ain't even that deep. Oh, it's that deep. It's that deep. And the reason why it's that deep is because the Hayden storyline with Fatima and Zach isn't that much of a pull to cause a lot of issues within their relationship. But you take the character of Karen, have her going crazy, have sex with her again. Now she's pregnant. It adds more drama. It adds more strength to the fire. There would be no spinoff. There would be no nothing if Tyler had not taken Karen's character down and regressed her the way that he has. and I want somebody to tell me otherwise. I just can't be convinced. So when we get into the show, I'm not going to go and talk about everything that happened. I'm just going to hit on some of the highlights for me, which wasn't much. But one of the first things, the women look beautiful. I enjoy what they had on. I love them. I love seeing them be themselves. So one of the questions, I think the first questions that Tyler asked them was, what was their favorite part? What was their favorite part of season 3? And he started with Novi. And so the way that they were sitting, it was Novi, Ebony, KJ, Tyler, Manon, and Crystal. That's how they were. So Novi answered first, and she talked about I think she said the bank when Jacoby hit Calvin and Calvin did the whole spin. And so Snoop was like, Tyler was like, yeah, you know what's something when Snoop post, you're like, Snoop, you watching? I said, Tyler, he was making fun of y'all. I don't think Snoop Dogg watched Sistas. It was that clip and it was also the clip where in the first season when Calvin had on the little underwear and he was telling Sabrina that you're judging me and you don't know. I was just like, Tyler, they're laughing at you, buddy. They're laughing at you. They are not laughing with you. Please understand that. And so the next person to answer was Ebony. And Ebony was like, can I be last? And when I tell you, I understood where sis was coming from. Because I'm like, hell, Tyler, as far as her character is concerned, you didn't give her not a damn thing to be happy about in season 3. What could be a favorite scene of hers? So I understood why she wanted to go last. And when I tell you the comments that, first of all, let me just pause and deal with this. When I tell you, I have read some of the most disgusting comments about all of these women, especially when it comes to their physical characteristics and their physical attributes. No one has been exempt. From Crystal on down, I have read some of the most disgusting comments. And I'm like, this is coming from Black women. And that's why I think it's so important, because I do the reviews and, I'll be funny and, all of that stuff like that at times. But it's like, I just wanted to talk about this review just as a Black woman, just as a fan of the show. And some of the things that I see, because I am sure that a lot of us feel the same way. We just don't talk about it for whatever the reason is, or we may discuss it in private, but it's like, nah, I want to come from a different perspective, a different direction. And I want people to feel comfortable to comment how they really feel about it. Some people may feel like, Alicia, you're going too deep, it ain't that deep, but it is. It really is. And it really shows to me Tyler's perspective of Black women, just straight up. So there were so many people discussing how they felt Ebony was, she was being phony. I really don't like her. Oh, she just like her characters. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I'm like, for those of us who actually follow these women on social media, we know that KJ and Novi are very much so in social media, heavy. We know that Manon, Danny, Ebony, Karen are not. They post the least of all the women on this show. And my thing is, because we see these women perform and they perform very well, it doesn't mean that their real selves aren't shy, aren't introverts, don't like being around people. And I'm just like, some people never take into consideration. You're not watching Danny, Sabrina, Karen, Andy, Fatima, and Danny. You're watching these real women. You're watching Novi, you're watching Karen, you're watching KJ, you're watching Manon, you're watching Crystal. That's who you're watching. And they are not a reflection of their characters. So it was just crazy. I was like, man, Ebony could do nothing in this review. Everything that she did on this special, it was talked about. Every single thing. So when it got back to Ebony, she talked about her favorite scene of her favorite part of season 3 was when Karen came into the realization of what her relationship was with Zach. And I'm thinking, has Karen really, sis? I don't know. I don't know if Karen has at this point realized. And the only scene that I can say that may have inspired that was when she told Zach that she was pregnant. Because his response, I wanted to punch him in his throat. But I'm like, that's the only scene that I would say that's when she could see or sense that this is what I've been wanting. This is what I had. This is what I've been fighting for. This is what I showed my ass out for. Like, this is what I've been mad at Fatima for. She can have them. That's how I would feel. So I really didn't know where, Ebony was going with that, but that's the only thing that I could personally think of. So another thing that makes me think that Tyler is a misogynistic narcissist is when Tyler started talking to Manon, aka Danny. And he asked her about, which I'm going to include a clip. It's about a minute and a couple seconds. So we're going to listen to that for a moment.
So Preston has done some things that we kind of don't pay attention to. We don't pay attention to the fact that he's broken into her house twice. We don't pay attention to, no, seriously. If your girlfriend says to you, hey girl, I just started dating this guy and he broke in, but it's okay because he made dinner and brought flowers.
Listen, a lot of women, they be like, shit, let him come on in. He gonna clean. Can he clean up? Can he clean up too?
Right. He did it twice.
Yeah.
The day after he's beat up by his brothers, his sister is there, he doesn't tell her. I don't think Danny feels like she can fully trust him yet. I mean, also, he's been saying, I'm going to stay at my cousin, his farm, his house, but it's his ex-wife.
I don't care nothing about that. You were like, get your ass out.
No, Danny doesn't, she doesn't fully trust him. He emotionally abandons her whenever there's an argument. I mean, I think he's sweet, but
who wrote this show you talking about?
You!
I don't see none of that.
You wrote it, but that's the thing. We don't pay attention to Danny's side. We're supposed to let...
All right. Now, listening to that clip, we can understand that Tyler really is oblivious to a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong. Tyler knows some things about specific black women. Overall, I don't think he know a damn thing about us. So when Manon began to express the fact that there are just certain things that people have overlooked, Preston has broken into her house twice. And is it supposed to be okay because he cooked dinner and bought flowers? And I thought that was a great point because she was like, I think some people in the audience started laughing. And she was like, no, seriously. If your friend called you, just for us to think about it, if one of our homegirls called us and said, Alicia, I just started dating this dude like 3 weeks ago. And girl, why I came home, he in my house and he done cooked dinner and he bought me flowers. I would have been like, I hope that's his first, well, not first, but I hope that's his last time into your house. But Tyler does write, I believe, with intentionality. That I won't take away from him. I think there is always an intention behind everything that he writes, whether we cohesively agree with it or we don't. There's an intentionality in what he writes because he writes Preston as everybody should be mad at Danny for how she's treating him. And then Manon made a great point. She was like, we never know how Danny feel about stuff. And it's because of the way that Tyler writes. When he asked her, like, what show are you watching? And she was like, yours, you wrote it. Because in his mind, he's not seeing or understanding or agreeing with anything that this woman is saying. Which to me, it goes back to that narcissistic and then misogyny mindset. You have these women. And then he asked the question, what would you like to see? Like he was irritated. Because it basically, I guess he felt like, I'm writing this show and you guys are telling me the way that I'm writing is not up to par for you. So what the hell y'all want to see, with your characters? And they all went around and said what they wanted. This was another thing I saw that was popular on the Facebook forums. When Crystal said, she wanted her and Zach to, to stay together or to be together. And the crowd, everybody clapping, Ebony clapping, because it is obvious, okay? It is obvious that Ebony doesn't want Karen to have anything to do with Zach. And if you guys have been following me, I said in many episodes that I do not believe, or many reviews, that I do not believe that that Ebony is happy with the way that Karen has been presented to us for this season. Her regression began in the last 3 episodes of season 2. And then season 3 was just you can't break this woman down anymore, Tyler. You have completely destroyed this woman's character. I don't even know how he's even going to rebuild that. I really don't know. But these women are telling him what he wants to, what they want to see, and he basically was like, yeah, okay, I hear y'all, next. I'm like, then why the hell did you ask them? You're not gonna use what they say. So basically he was like, oh, so you want Trinity fired? Oh, so you want Anthony fired? Because Sabrina was like, she wants her to date, she wants her to be free. Sabrina is single, let her enjoy her single life. And KJ and Ebony both were saying how they wanted their characters to find true love. And I have said several times that I don't believe that Tyler knows how to write people being happy, because I don't think he's happy himself. So it's hard. Well, I'm not going to say it's hard to write from a place that you're not currently in, but it's just like something is really wrong with that. No one is happy. And I do understand that we're getting this Zatima spinoff. I got a whole lot of thoughts about that. And I'm just like, y'all don't expect too much. I'm just saying, don't expect too much. I don't think it's going to be what a lot of people thinking it's going to be. That's just my personal opinion of it. But I think that has always been the plan once Tyler put Fatima and Zach together. So the men come out. They look good. I enjoy watching them. I just enjoy all of them because they seem to have very good relationships. I know that they go on vacation together. It was really nice. I saw it was a picture floating around not too long ago. Now I'm gonna just say this, and this is not to be messy. This is just me as a woman observing. Okay, so when the men came out, the women stood up and hugged them. They greeted them. Was it just me? Was it just me? Or did Kevin and Ebony's hug was like 5 seconds too long? I thought it was cute. I think they have great chemistry. And I know that Ebony is very private. And I'm just like, what's up, sis? What's going on? What's going on? And let me clarify, because a lot of people were tripping over this thing with KJ. I thought she was with Scott. I thought they were dating. I believe that this was shot. They were dating. They've been dating for like a year, I think it is. But they had not come out publicly about their relationship. So I think that's why they handled it that way. And even with Ebony, when they was like, when Tyler was like, y'all single, this was a cute little part of the show. So Tyler and his people, they all picked, I think it was 4 guys to take the women out on dates. And it was cute. It was cute. It was a little, I guess a little distraction from how the show was going, because I'm like, I know they edit a lot, so I have to preface that, because I know that they can't fit everything into that 1 hour. So I know that the editing has to be like ridiculous about what actually happened that we did not see. But I know that if you watched the first one, or if you heard my review for the first Sistas after show, it was pretty much like the same thing. I've heard Tyler talk about how he, embraces the feedback that these women give. And I was like, I can't see that, sir. You might, allow them to speak, but you're not doing anything with the feedback that they're giving you. That's how I took it. So when the men came out, I love hearing the stories how, either their life has changed since they've been working with Tyler. Brian talked about that, how he showed up in the hoopty. I think he said it was a shoestring that was basically holding his trunk together, his hood together, and he got the role, and that his life has changed. He's like, and I got a new car, and so I love hearing things like that. And so they got to the part where let me say Cheeto plays Gary. That man is fine. You know what I'm saying? That man is fine. Chocolate brother. I just want to say that, because he gets a lot of grief being Gary. But when he comes out as Cheeto baby, Gary goes away. Gary goes away. Cheeto is fine. And so I think they got around to the part where Ebony was like, they don't know much about Aaron, is a lot that they don't know about. And I think Kevin was like, yeah, because a lot of people are still on the fence about him. He was like, I appreciate people who be accusing me of stuff, and when they find out that they're wrong, they come and apologize. He's like, some of y'all don't, but that's okay. And so, well, and then Tyler was like, well, maybe, but he was like, want to get a little bit more about who, Aaron is. And so Tyler was like, well, if the show was out, I can't say verbatim. I don't know if he said bruh or brothers, but I'm just going to say brothers. He was like, if the show was called Brothers, yeah, but the show is called Sistas, so it's all about the ladies. I said, wait a damn minute. Because, sir, have you not turned Sistas into ex-boyfriend of a sister show? Is that not what we watching? Because it's not Zach the star of this show now. Okay, is he not? Because the moment that Tyler decided to make this spinoff, this show has turned into the Zach show. So for him to tell another male character on this show, well, if the show was called Brothers, we would know more about you, but it's all about the women. You are a lie, Mr. Perry. You are a lie. The character of Zach gets so much free time, gets so much screen time, you would think like he ain't even the main character. The main character are these 4 women. This has turned into the Zach show, aka ex-boyfriend of a sister show. That's what we're watching. So I'm like, for him to say that, I was like, And then even with Maurice, okay? Maurice is not a main character. Like I said, those who listen to my review, it was refreshing to see that. But sometimes Maurice get too much screen time too. It ain't about you. It is not about you. It's not about them. That's really all that happened on the show. It just wasn't a lot. They read a few tweets. They asked, one of the questions was for Ebony, and someone asked like, who baby was it? Was it Karen? Was it Zach's or was it Aaron? And there was someone who in the audience who I'm like, shut up. Cause she was just screaming. I'm sorry if that was you and you watching. I'm sorry, but I wanted you to hush. But she kept saying, that ain't no Zach baby. That's the preacher baby. And so Tyler was like, y'all don't think it's Zach baby? No. I was like, lady, please don't be a pick me. Don't be a pick me. But anyway, that was one of the questions. Another question was to KJ, and it was asking like, what is this hold that Gary has over Andy? What is it the history? That's when Tyler pulled out of his ass that Gary has never lied to Andy. And y'all, it was the fact that he actually believed that. It was the fact that Tyler actually believed that. It was the fact that Tyler said, because, Gary, he never lied to her, and he's trying, I said, you know what? Tyler is so toxic because where is Gary trying? Where? Please point it out. Please tell me which season and episode. What is he trying? I was just like, Tyler has a very deceitful perspective because I'm like, that's why these women, how you have painted these women on the show. And KJ, okay, I love KJ. I like her. I love her work. KJ was talking about, the women who have reached out to her and told her that, they're in her situation. And don't get me wrong, I believe that there are a lot of women who are in these situations with married men. Some not married, some maybe, in a relationship or engaged or what have you, and they're involved. And when she said that someone said like she inspires them. And I said, okay. Listen, and I mean this with the most sincerity of my heart. If the character of Andy Barnes is an inspiration to you, I'm available to talk to you, sis. Because no, now if you're talking about her professionalism with being a lawyer, okay, that aspect, because even her professionalism is in question now that she's sleeping with the boss, okay. But just her being a black lawyer, being on top of her game, that yes. Anything other, no. Andy is not an inspiration. Andy is not a role model. Andy is not someone who should be looked up to at all. To me, none of these women fit that bill as of right now. They just don't. But I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny. He didn't leave the men out there too long because he considered this to be ladies' night at the Tyler Perry show. And then, like I said, he played like a little matchmaker with these men. Now, I will give Tyler them this. The man that he picked for Ebony, that man was fine as hell. Baby lifted up his shirt. Ebony got up off the stage. He was Nigerian. Ebony walked up off the stage, baby, and went to him. She already said she was drunk. I think baby girl had about 3-4 cups. But it was so cute. It was so cute. Someone had something to say about that. I saw people literally saying, she came off desperate. She came off I was like, listen, to be so invested in a character where you don't like the person, that is a problem. And don't get me wrong, it does happen, and I get it. But to nitpick everything someone does is crazy. And the reason why I am talking about Ebony and the character Karen so much is because no one else on this show that I saw received hate like that. The only other person I saw something was they were saying, what did Novi have on? I love Novi's style. She's an individual. It's her own representation of herself and how she feels. And anybody who follows Novi, which she's like one of my favorite people to follow, Novi is all into what is it? Her horoscopes. She's all into, that is not what I wanted to say, mythology and things of that nature. But she's really into that, and I love her because she's such a free spirit. She's such a free person, and I really enjoy that. And it goes again, we gotta talk just because somebody don't dress like you. And I'm just gonna be honest, half of the people who be talking about them, I go on their page and I'm like, you got something to say about her wardrobe? I just exit left. I don't say nothing because I don't believe in talking about my sisters. You know what I'm saying? I believe in uplifting, and I'm not a person of negativity. And that's really, literally, that's all that happened on the show. They did not talk about the spinoff. Like I said, Crystal was kind of quiet. I would say more reserved. I think someone was saying that I do follow her, but I don't know much about her. But yeah, yeah. It's just sad. It's sad. I think one of the most disappointing comments that I saw where it was like, this woman was stating that she wonders if the other women are jealous of Crystal because she has a spinoff. And I'm like, why would that be your first mindset? Why would you go there first? From what I see of these women, they are all supportive of each other's journey as being performers. And I have never seen any of them discredit or downplay anyone else. What I've seen, they're very supportive of each other, and they're all not all, but I know that Ebony and KJ are in multiple projects, and I'm just like, yeah, people just be looking for stuff. So this was a special that, one, like I said, to me, it didn't paint Tyler in the greatest of light. Two, it really showed me as a whole just how much season 3 was like a slap in the face to the character of Karen, all for the sake of Zach and Fatima. And I am so interested in seeing when they do this spinoff, if Karen is going to be a part of it. I'm really interested in that because I want to see just how great of a writer Tyler can write Zach and Fatima to experience joy, happiness, and bliss, since so many people believe that Karen is the reason why they're not. I really want to see that. I really want to see how he does this. And I'm nervous because I don't plan on watching it, but I think it was the fact that I think Tyler shot this show. It was 10 episodes, and I think he shot it, I forget how many days it was. It was days. Y'all know it takes him 10 days to do 22 episodes. Can you imagine how long it took to do 10? Well, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say about that. I just wasn't too happy about it. And the thing about it is, and I'll end it on this note. The thing about it is, it was so evident that these women are tired of their own characters. I don't think I used to see certain things with them, and I never believed them. Oh, we're just discussing women going through things, and, there are so many women going, and I'm like, I know you don't believe that, sis. You don't even believe that. You don't believe what you're saying, but you're trying to keep your job, and I get it. But I guess they said, Tyler, the hell with you. No, we don't like how this is going. And I'm like, yes, I love that. You have voices. Use them. And I just love what I saw. I love how they supported each other, even in that. Even with Manon and just clarifying, how she feels about this whole thing with Preston. I I really used to love Sistas. I really did. It was one of my favorite shows. And it has been disheartening watching it Wednesday by Wednesday just turn into something that is unrecognizable. To see the character of Karen turn into someone who's unrecognizable. So I do hope in season 4 we can see, this resurgence of Karen, and just to see how this child is going to change her life. And just to go from there, hopefully we do have a great season 4. I'm not holding my breath on that one. But that's all that I have. That's really everything that happened. The men was out there for maybe about 5 minutes, and then they went back. DeVal wasn't there because he was working on another project. Anthony wasn't there because he had a family emergency. But for the most part, that's all it was, y'all. That's all it was. I do have some more videos, but tomorrow is Christmas, and I will be enjoying my day. But I will be posting another video on Sunday. So I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. Y'all be safe out there. Make memories tomorrow, even if you're just chilling at the house. And just be thankful that, you still have breath in your body and you still have the ability to move, the ability to see, the ability to enjoy life. So until then, I will holler at y'all later.